Now we shall discuss about errors in the energy meter. Errors in the energy meter. Coming to the errors which are present in the energy meter: phase error, speed error, frictional error, creeping error or creeping effect. The last one is temperature error. Coming to the first one is phase error. We know driving torque TD is directly proportional to VI sin beta, where beta is the phase angle between phi sh and phi se. Okay. Now let this is V phase or VL. Is phasor V phase or VL. Phasor IL. Anyhow, for lagging load, current lags voltage by an angle phi. Let this is IL. Current lags voltage by an angle phi. Let this is ISH. Phi SH is in phase with ISH. Similarly, phi SC will be in phase with IL, because current coil is connected in series with the load, so that current coil carries load current. Okay, so this is current coil which is connected in series with the load, so this current coil carries load current. Okay, so this is proportional to the load current, so this will be in phase with IL. Similarly, because of ISH, phi SH will be produced, so this phi SH will be in phase with ISH. So phi SH is in phase with IL and phi SH is in phase with ISH. The angle between phi SH and phi SC is beta. So the angle between these two is beta. Okay. The angle between V phase and ISH is delta. You take delta. Okay. So TD is directly proportional to VI. What is beta? Beta is sine of delta minus phi. Okay. if delta is equal to 90 degrees, if delta is equal to 90 degrees, then TD is directly proportional to VI sine of 90 minus phi. That is, TD is directly proportional to VI cos phi. Okay, that is, TD is directly proportional to true AC power, true AC power. Okay, so if if delta is equal to 90 degrees, then driving torque is directly proportional to true AC power. How can I make delta 90 degrees? Making delta 90 degrees means current lags voltage by an angle 90 degrees. If current lags, if ISH lags behind the voltage by an angle 90 degrees, then driving torque is directly proportional to true AC power. Okay, that is, if this is V phase, then this will be ISH. So ISH lags behind V phase by an angle 90 degrees. Then only TD directly proportional to true AC power. Okay, simply you can say AC power, AC power. Okay, true AC power or AC power. Okay, so when this current lags voltage by an angle 90 degrees, if this pressure coil is purely inductive in nature, if it is purely inductive in nature, then only ISH lags V phase by an angle 90 degrees. So if it is purely inductive in nature, then only it is possible. Okay. Anyhow, strictly speaking, this is not purely resistive in nature. Sorry, this is not purely inductive in nature. Okay. If pressure coil is purely inductive in nature, purely inductive in nature, ISH lags V phase by an angle 90 degrees, or phi SH lags behind V phase by an angle 90 degrees. Okay. Anyhow, V phase is the voltage applied across this. Okay. So if it is purely inductive in nature, then ISH lags V phase by an angle 90 degrees. Then driving torque is directly proportional to AC power, true AC power. Okay. Otherwise, meter will not read correct reading. Okay, meter will not read correctly. Okay, if delta is equal to 90 degrees, then only meter will, this energy meter will read correctly. Okay, as TD is directly proportional to AC power. Okay, strictly speaking, this is not completely inductive in nature, this is not completely reactive in nature, it is having some resistance. Okay, this pressure coil is having some resistance. As it is having some resistance, delta will not be equal to 90 degrees. If it is not equal to 90 degrees, if it is less than 90 degrees, okay, then TD will be proportional to VI sine of, if it is some 85 degrees, then 85 degrees minus phi. Okay, that is, it is not proportional to AC power, true power, it is not proportional to true power. Okay, then causes an error. Okay, that error is called phase error. Okay, if delta is not equal to 90 degrees, okay, then this energy meter will not read correctly. Okay, then it causes an error called phase error. Okay, coming to the adjustment. How can you compensate this phase error? Okay, compensating phase error means making delta is equal to 90 degrees. Making delta is equal to 90 degrees means phi sh or ISH or phi sh lags V phase by an angle 90 degrees. Then driving torque is directly proportional to AC power, true AC power. Otherwise meter will not read correctly. Okay, so in order to make delta is equal to 90 degrees, okay, that is for lag adjustment. This is called lag adjustment. Okay, in order to make delta 90 degrees, we place copper shading bands. Okay, here we place copper shading bands. Copper shading bands on the central limb of this shunt magnet. We place copper shading bands on the central limb of this shunt magnet. Okay, so this phi sh shunt flux induces current in this copper shading bands. Okay, so this induced current causes a further displacement of shunt flux. Okay, that is before using this copper shading bands, you may have phasor diagram like this: V phase, ISH. Okay, this angle may be less than 90 degrees. Okay, after using shading bands, you may have phasor diagram like this: V phase, I phase, 90 degrees. Okay, by changing the position of this copper shading bands, okay, by changing the position of this copper shading bands, I can change the angle between, sorry, this is ISH. I can change the angle between ISH and V phase. I can change the angle between ISH and V phase. So lag adjustment can be made by using copper shading bands. By placing copper shading bands on the central limb of this shunt magnet, lag adjustment can be made. So you can have the required angle, you can get the required lag adjustment, that is delta is equal to 90 degrees by placing copper shading bands on the middle central limb of the shunt magnet. Okay, by adjusting the position of the copper shading bands, you can change the angle and you can adjust this angle. Okay, so lag adjustment can be done. Okay, this adjustment is called as lag adjustment. Lag adjustment or power factor adjustment. Power factor adjustment. Okay, now coming to the next error. Next error is speed error. Okay, sometimes the speed of the disc of the meter is either fast or slow. Okay, sometimes speed of the disc in the energy meter is either fast or slow. Then it causes considerable error. Okay, as long as the load is constant, the speed of the disc should be constant, but sometimes the speed of the disc will be changing. Okay, sometimes the speed of the disk is either fast or slow, then it causes considerable error. Okay, so in order to compensate this error, coming to the adjustment. Okay, in order to control the speed of the disk, we use braking magnet. This is braking magnet. We use braking magnet. Okay, speed of the disk will get controlled by using braking magnet. Okay, by using braking magnet, by changing the position of this braking magnet, speed of the disk will get controlled. Okay, this is used to maintain the speed of the disk constant. Okay, to control the speed of the disk, we use braking magnet. We can change the position of this. By changing the position of this braking magnet, we can control the speed of the disk. Okay, so here you are going to have a disk, and I'll do one thing. This is spindle. Okay, this is braking magnet. Okay, so now by changing the position of this braking magnet, I can control the speed of the disk. Okay, anyhow, you know, here phi b is the flux produced by this braking magnet. Okay, because of that, eddy current will be induced in this disk. Okay, due to the interaction between phi b and eddy current, that is, you take IB. Due to the interaction of these two, okay, this disk will experience braking torque. Okay, so now here, if this braking torque is moving towards the center of this spindle, okay, this is the center of the spindle. This is the center of the spindle. If it is moving towards the center of the spindle, braking torque will be reducing and speed of the disk will be increasing. If it is moving towards the center of the spindle, if it is moving away from the center of the spindle, braking torque will be increasing and the speed of the disk will be decreasing. Okay, if opposing torque is decreasing, means speed of the disk will be increasing. If opposing torque will be decreasing, increasing, means speed of the disk will be decreasing. Opposing torque is increasing, means speed of the disk will be decreasing, right? Okay, why TB will be decreasing if it is moving towards the center of the spindle? Why TB will be, braking torque will be increasing if it is moving away from the center of the spindle? Okay, now for example, to clarify this, to answer this question or to clarify this doubt, let me take this example. Okay, this is door. Okay, you're going to have two hinges. Okay, you're going to have hinges, right? Here you're going to have hinges. Okay, now if I apply force at the hinge, if you apply some force at this hinge, it is far difficult to open or close the door. It is far difficult to move the door, or it is far difficult to open or close the door if you apply force at the hinge of the door, Okay, but if you apply force at a greater distance from the hinge. At a greater distance from the hinge means you apply force here, you apply force here, or you apply force here, you apply force here. Okay, if you apply force at a greater distance from the hinge, it is very easy to move the door, or it is very easy to close or open the door. Okay, similarly, applying force at the hinge is nothing but moving this braking magnets towards the center of this spindle. If it is moving, if the braking magnet is moving towards the center of the spindle, TB will be decreasing. Okay, flux will be same, but TB will be decreasing. Okay, now if I apply force at a greater distance from the hinge, means here, it is easy to move the move this door, right? Similarly, if it is moving, if this braking magnet is moving away from the center of the spindle, then TB will be more. Then speed of the disc will be decreasing. If opposing torque is more, means speed of the disc will be decreasing. Okay, likewise, by changing the position of this braking magnet, you can control the speed of the disc. Okay, next, coming to the friction error. Third one is friction error. The spindle is supported on dual bearings, and anyhow here also you are going to have frictional forces. Okay, frictional forces at rotor bearings, here you have bearings. Okay, rotor bearings, and in the counting mechanism, may cause considerable error. Okay, so at light loads, anyhow, okay, this is disc. Okay, if this is driving torque, then this will be braking torque. Okay, this is opposite to the direction of driving torque, right? Okay, which opposes the motion of this disc. Okay, anyhow, frictional forces, torque will be produced due to frictional forces. Okay, this is TF. Okay, frictional torque. Okay, torque due to frictional forces. This is in the direction of TB only. Okay, this frictional forces, torque due to frictional forces opposes the motion of the disc. So this is in the direction of TB only. Okay, so this is also some opposing torque. In addition to this TB, additional opposing torque is frictional torque. Okay, so at light loads, because of this at light loads, the torque due to friction disc may not rotate because of frictional torque. Okay, because this is additional opposing torque. Okay, this is the torque which is in addition to this opposing torque. Okay, opposing torque is more now. Okay, at light loads, TD is less. If TD is less, means because of this additional frictional torque, disc may not rotate, or speed of the disc is very less. Okay, because of frictional torque. Okay, this error is called frictional error. that error is called frictional error. Okay, this is TB and this is TF. Okay, this is TD. Okay, so coming to the adjustment. How can you compensate this frictional error? In order to compensate this frictional error, what we do is we place short circuited loops. We place short circuited loops. In the leakage gaps of the shunt magnet. Okay, if you place short circuited loops in the leakage gaps of the shunt magnet, okay, some additional torque will be provided. Okay, some additional torque will be provided. Let this is TA. Some additional torque is provided to rotate this disc, or to compensate this frictional error. Anyhow, this frictional error is constant. To compensate this frictional torque. Anyhow, this frictional torque is constant, almost constant. Okay, this frictional torque is constant. Okay, so some constant torque, additional torque is provided by placing short circuited loops. Okay, this is short circuited loops. So by placing short circuited loops in the leakage gaps of the shunt magnet, okay, we provide some additional torque. Okay, constant and additional torque. Anyhow, this is also constant. Okay, so I can rotate this disc at light loads. Okay, this adjustment is called as light load adjustment. Okay, so here we provide some additional torque by placing short circuit loops in the leakage gaps of the shunt magnet. This adjustment is called as light load adjustment. Okay, now coming to the next error. Next one is creeping effect or creeping error. Okay, sometimes the disc of the meter makes slow but continuous rotations at no load conditions or at no load. Okay, this effect is called as creeping effect. Okay, at no load conditions means when no load current is flowing through the load. Okay, here when no load is connected, okay, let it gets opened. Okay, if it gets opened, then no current is flowing through the load. No current will be flowing through the load. Okay, if no current is flowing through the load means only this pressure coil is excited. Okay, if only pressure coil is excited and no current is flowing through the load, that is at no load conditions, the disc may make slow but continuous rotations. That effect is called as creeping effect. That is because of overcompensation for friction. Okay, here we provide some additional torque, right? Okay, this is what compensation. This is compensation for friction. Compensation for friction. Okay, if this torque is more than the required torque, if this torque is more than the required torque, you can get this effect, creeping effect. Okay, so if this torque is more than the required torque, disc will give continuous rotations, slow but continuous rotations. That effect is called as creeping effect. Creeping effect is due to what? Because of overcompensation compensation for friction. Overcompensation for friction. Okay, coming to the adjustment. In order to compensate this error, what we do is, two diametrically opposite holes are drilled in the disc. Okay, we make two diametrically opposite holes in the disc to overcome this effect. Okay, so now let this is the aluminum disc. Okay, let this is one of the holes. Okay, then the flux will get distributed like this. The flux will get distributed like this in the disc. Okay, so here you're going to have flux lines like this. Okay, so here flux per area is more on this side. On the other side of this hole, flux per area is less. Okay, so unequal distribution of flux, non-uniform distribution of flux. So because of this unequal distribution of flux, will stop the rotation of the disc. Okay, when one of the holes comes under one of the poles of the shunt magnet, okay, you are going to have this unequal distribution of flux. Okay, this unequal distribution of flux stops the rotation of the disc. Okay, so this effect can be overcome. Okay, and the last one is temperature error. The resistance of the disc is as it is aluminum disc, it is resistive in nature, 99% resistive in nature. Resistance of the disc, the resistance of the pressure coil, strength of the magnetic field. Okay, the resistance of the disc, the resistance of the pressure coil, strength of the magnetic field may get affected by changes in the temperature. Okay, resistance of the disc, resistance of the pressure coil, strength of the magnetic field may get affected by the changes in the temperature. Okay, the temperature effects can be compensated by using temp shunt on the brake magnet, and by using special magnetic materials like mu temp, okay, such as special magnetic materials such as mu temp. Okay, so the temperature effects can be compensated by using temp shunt on the braking magnet or by using special magnetic materials such as mu temp. Okay, now coming to meter constant. Okay, now what is meter constant? We know, right? We know braking torque at steady state. Disc rotates with constant speed when TB is equal to TD. That is, N is directly proportional to AC power, that is VI cos phi, or power, simply power. Okay, so integration of N dt directly proportional to integration VI cos phi dt, that is integration N dt. Okay, I will do one thing. Integration of N dt is nothing but number of revolutions. Okay, N is speed of the disc, where integration N dt is nothing but number of revolutions made by the disc is directly proportional to energy consumed by the load. Okay, so number of revolutions made by the disc is proportional to the energy consumed by the load. Okay, so number of revolutions made by the disc is equal to some constant K into energy, where K is meter constant. Okay, that is K is equal to number of revolutions made by the disc. Okay, that is number of revolutions by energy. Okay, the commercial unit of energy is kilowatt hour. So you do one thing, simply you write like this: meter constant. This is meter constant. K is equal to number of revolutions by kilowatt hour. Number of revolutions by kilowatt hour. Okay, now how can I define this meter constant? The meter constant means the number of revolutions made by the disc for 1 kilowatt hour of energy consumption is called meter constant. Okay, the number of revolutions made by the disc for 1 kilowatt hour of energy consumption is called meter constant. Okay, meter constant expressed in number of revolutions by 1 kilowatt hour, expressed in number of revolutions by kilowatt hour. Now we will discuss about testing of energy meter by phantom loading. Testing of energy meter. Testing of energy meter by phantom loading. When the current rating of a energy meter when the current rating of an energy meter under test, then we will go for phantom loading. Instead of using normal loading, we will go for phantom loading. Okay, we will go for phantom loading when the current rating of this instrument, current rating of an energy meter under test. Okay, then what is the advantage of phantom loading when compared to normal loading? Okay, phantom loading is also called as fictitious loading. Okay, fictitious loading. Okay, now okay, normal loading. First we will go for normal loading. Normal loading. Okay, we will be having current coil which is placed in series with the load. Okay, this is load. Okay, now we place pressure coil across the supply. Okay, let this is 220 volts, phase neutral. Okay, let this pressure coil is having the resistance of 8800 ohms. Let this current coil is having 0.1 ohms. Okay, coming to this, okay, coming to phantom loading. Phantom loading or fictitious loading. Okay, here what we do is, this is normal loading. Okay, here what we do is, here pressure coil is excited by applying nominal voltage, that is 220 volts, phase neutral. Okay, anyhow this is having the resistance of 8800 ohms. Okay, now let IL is equal to 5 amps. Okay, let IL is equal to 5 amps. Let IL is equal to 5 amps. Okay, now what we do is, now let me excite this current coil separately. Okay, so in order to pass desired amount of current, what we do is, let me apply some low voltage to current coil circuit. Okay, here let me use variable resistor. Here this is current coil. Okay, let this is fixed voltage, that is 6 volts. Okay, so to pass desired amount of load current, that is 5 amps, we use variable resistors in series with this current coil. Okay, this is current coil circuit. Okay, this current coil circuit is excited separately with constant voltage to vary the current to get the required value, to get the desired value of load current, we use variable resistance in series with this current coil. Okay, so now let 5 amps is the current which is flowing to this current coil circuit. Now what will be the total power consumed by this circuit? Okay, total power will be V square by Rp plus, that is power in pressure coil plus power in current coil circuit, that is V into I. Okay, which is equal to, what is V square by Rp? V square by Rp means 220 square by 8800 plus what is V into I? V means 220 into 5. Then you are going to get 5.5 plus 1100. Then we are going to get 1105.5 watts. Okay, coming to this loading, phantom loading, total power will be, total power is equal to V square by Rp plus V into I, which is equal to, what is V square by Rp? 220 square by 8800 plus what is V? V is 6 volts. What is I? 5. Okay, then you are going to get 35.5 watts. Okay, so we can reduce the power loss by using phantom loading. Okay, when we use this phantom loading, okay, when the current rating of the meter is under test, when the current rating of an energy meter under test, then we will go for phantom loading instead of normal loading, because if you go for normal loading, huge power loss, you're going to get huge power loss. Okay, if you use phantom loading or fictitious loading, we are going to get power loss of 35.5 watts. I mean, for this, okay, in this case, okay, for this example, the power loss is 1105.5 watts. In phantom loading, for phantom loading, it is 35.5 watts. That is less power loss, more power loss. For normal loading, more power loss is taking place. For light loading, sorry, for phantom loading, less power loss is taking place. Okay, unnecessarily there is power loss if you use normal loading, so it's better to use phantom loading or fictitious loading when the current rating of the energy meter is under test. It is better to go for phantom loading or fictitious loading. Okay, to reduce the power loss, we will go for phantom loading or fictitious loading. Okay, now we will go for two problems. A voltage flux adjustment of a certain single phase 220 volts induction watt-hour meter is nothing but energy meter, is altered so that the phase angle between the applied voltage and the flux is 85 degrees instead of 90 degrees. The errors introduced in the readings of this meter when the current is 5 amps at power factors of unity and 0.5 respectively, lagging respectively. Okay, coming to the solution, we have to find errors. Okay, so here delta is equal to 85 degrees instead of 90 degrees. Okay, then you know error is equal to measured value minus true value. Okay, measured value, you know, driving torque is directly proportional to VI sin beta. VI sin beta is nothing but VI sin of delta minus phi. Okay, what is true power? VI cos phi or sin of 90 minus phi. Okay, sin of 90 minus phi. This is what VI. You do one thing. What is V? Here 220 volts. Okay, so 220 volts into phi into sine of 85 minus, okay, case 1 is for unity power factor, means phi is equal to 0 degrees, cos phi is equal to 1, so 0 minus 220 into phi into sine of 90 minus 0, 90 minus 0, or you do one thing, simply cos phi is equal to 1, okay, then approximately equal to minus 4.2 watts. Similarly, case 2, when phi is equal to, cos phi is equal to 0.5 means phi is equal to 60 degrees, okay, so error is equal to measured value Vi sine 85 minus 60 minus Vi cos phi, okay, which is equal to 220 into phi into sine of 25 degrees minus 220 into phi, cos phi is 0.5, okay, then approximately this is, or okay, it is equal to minus 85.1 watts, okay. Now we will go for one more problem. Solution. Question, coming to the question, a DC ampere hour meter is rated for 15 amps to 50 volts. The meter constant is 14.4 ampere seconds per revolution. The meter constant at rated voltage may be expressed as, okay, meter constant will be expressed in revolutions per kilowatt hour, okay, you know, right, K is equal to number of revolutions made by the disk for 1 kilowatt hour of energy consumption, right. So we do one thing, meter constant K, okay, which will be equal to, let me do one thing, 1 by 14.4 it will be revolutions per seconds, revolutions per ampere seconds, okay. I have to get this K in revolutions per kilowatt hour. So we do one thing, let it gets multiplied by 1000, then you are going to get 1 kilo, okay, into kilo revolutions by kilowatt hour, here anyhow DC ampere hour meter means cos phi will be equal to 1, so let it gets multiplied by, let this numerator gets multiplied by 250 volts, anyhow 250 volts is given, okay, 250 volts, 1 by 250 volts into 36,000 seconds by 1 hour, okay, then you are going to get 1000 into 36,000 by 14.4, anyhow revolutions, okay, seconds will get cancelled, okay, then you volts into 250 revolutions by volts multiplied by amps multiplied by kilo multiplied by hour, you are going to get kilowatt hour, okay, then you are going to get 1000 into 3600 by 14.4 into 250, you are going to get 1000 revolutions per kilowatt hour, Coming to the last problem. Coming to the solution. An energy meter having meter constant K is equal to 1200 revolutions per kilowatt hour and makes 20 revolutions in 30 seconds. So what is power? What is load? Power in kilowatts. Okay. Power P in kilowatts, which is equal to, we do one thing, 1 by K. You write 1 by K means 1 by 1200 kilowatt hour by revolutions into 20 revolutions in 30 seconds. 20 revolutions by 30 seconds. This is nothing but 1 by 1200 kilowatts into 3600 seconds. 1 hour is equal to 3600 seconds by revolutions into 20 revolutions by 30 seconds. Okay, revolutions will get cancelled, seconds will get cancelled. Sorry, 120. Okay, 120, this will be 10 2s are 20, so this will be 2 kilowatts. Thank you.